What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you this video on enchanting items in Divinity Original Sin 2. So I recently put out a poll in my community tab, and people pretty overwhelmingly said that they wanted a video about this when I asked about it. So here we go. Some clarification. The Crafter's Kit gift bag that was part of the, I believe, Song and Nature gift bag added a bunch of new recipes and stuff that could be toggled if you chose to turn on that particular gift bag feature. However, I'm specifically talking about stuff that is in the base game, not in the Crafter's Kit. So this is all base game stuff. It will still apply if you turn that Crafter's Kit on, but I'm not adding anything into this video that is from that gift bag. First things first, there are a couple of recipes on the enchanting table that apply to weapons mostly, and a couple other things that technically are enchanting, but the weapon ones in particular I want to mention because I have an almost impossible time getting them to work ever. I don't know if this is a bug or what exactly, but despite using the appropriate materials, the weapon ones never seem to want to work for me, so take that for what you will. Before we jump into the rest of this, enchanting in Divinity Original Sin 2 is a tiny bit underwhelming. So basically what we're doing is we are using the Eternal Artifact item that can be found. There's a couple of them in Act 2. There's several in Act 3 on the Nameless Island. That's where most of them are. And you can pick up a couple more in Act 4. We're going to use those items and combine them with our armor and weapons in the crafting menu to give them bonuses, and that's basically what enchanting in Divinity Original Sin 2 is. Now, as I mentioned, there are a couple more things that are included in enchanting, mostly the weapons, but also more simple things like combining nails with your boot item, and that will actually give you immunity to slipping on ice from knockdowns, so immunity to slipping is what it actually shows up in the tooltip. So there is stuff like that, but more importantly, we're focused on the Eternal Artifact stuff. Now, like I mentioned, you can only pick up so many of them, so they are limited. I don't remember the exact number, but it's like 10 to 15 total of these Eternal Artifacts that you can find. And moreover, there's actually two different ones. So they're easily distinguished by the visual image in your inventory. There are two separate items for this technically, though they are both called Eternal Artifact. Now that's important because depending on which one you use, it will actually give you slightly different bonuses sometimes. In the case of rings, they will always give you Scoundrel, so you don't have to worry about it. But keep in mind that sometimes one Eternal Artifact won't work at all for a particular piece of armor, and then the other one will be what you have to use, and then sometimes, depending on which one you use, it will give you a different bonus. The long and short of it is really all we have to do to enchant things in Divinity Original Sin 2 is combine one of these Eternal Artifacts with an inventory equipable item, so armor, weapons, neck, jewelry, all that jazz. For the most part, there is no way of telling what you're going to get unless you already know what it is. So there's nothing in game that tells you that like doing this particular thing will give you this particular stat. Pretty much you have to know what you're doing ahead of time. So for instance, if you use a helmet, you're either going to get finesse or huntsman, and it's going to add physical armor. If you do it with a chest, you're going to get air resistance, and it's adding physical armor. If you add it to a belt, you're pretty much going to get strength, warfare, or adds physical armor. With that in mind, the mages of Divinity have really kind of got the short end of this one, to be honest with you. Pretty much all of the base game enchants will either give you finesse or range bonuses or strength and warfare type stuff. And you also get like Scoundrel and Thievery, so pretty much unless you're a melee focused build, you're not really going to get a lot of benefit from this. That said, the nails and boots combination is useful for literally everyone, so keep that in mind. But there you go, guys. Enchanting in Divinity Original Sin 2 is as simple as applying an Eternal Artifact to your equipable items, your inventory items. So any item you can equip, just give it an Eternal Artifact, and there you go. So you do this via the crafting menu. They are limited. There are only so many Eternal Artifacts in the game. And then lastly, there is no way to undo this. So because of that and their limited nature, you basically want to try to know ahead of time what the best gear for what you're trying to do is, or at least the top tier gear towards the end of the game, if you don't have like a specific piece in mind, and then apply the Eternal Artifact to that, because again, they're limited. There's only so many of these. You cannot get them back after you do this. It's not like runes where you can just take them back out. Totally different system. My personal opinion is that this system is in fact a little underwhelming. Like I said, it's not bad, honestly, like it could be worse, but the fact that, again, nothing really tells you about this, you kind of just have to figure it out on your own. Mages are pretty well left out in the cold on this. Things like that. It's just overall kind of an underwhelming system to me. However, it's something that if you know about it, you can take advantage of it to great effect, especially for your melee characters. I'm going to link a table down below that will give you pretty much every base game enchant. I don't know what the crafter's bag adds in that regard, to be honest with you, but everything in the table below that I'll link is for the base game. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Honestly, not a lot to tell, but there you go nonetheless. Now you know how to do it yourself. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTubey jazz. But thank you so much for watching. May you wander in wisdom. Have an amazing day.